right. A little bit of gum goodness. I'm going to be making 2 of them. So you see the first one today, and I'm filming the next one right after this, and you should see that one tomorrow. This is about Trey Miguel. Now, I had already been given comments saying, hey, did you hear the Rascals went to AEW? Hey, have you heard what happened with Trey Miguel? Hey, there's some strange reason why he left. This is what's standing on the sites. I have now looked at the sites. I looked at all of the sites I currently have that I know of, and that's 22 of them. Some of them give some basic information. Some have already given some older information. One site that I will be leaving in the link below has given the same information, but some level of speculation added with that compared to the other sites that I've been to. And that was pwmania.com. I believe that's the one I will be putting in the comments below that you can look at yourself. But here's the thing. If you looked at Trey Miguel's documentary that was on YouTube, and it talked about his life. Actually, I tried to film this earlier, and I screwed up and I had to refilm it. But what I basically said earlier was, me and Trey kind of have something somewhat in common. Look, we know Trey is half black, half white. And in his life, his mother gave life to him, but then went to prison right after he was born. And as far as I can remember, I don't think his mother passed away. I believe that she's still in prison, and she doesn't even give 2 damn fucks about him. So he made it very clear how upset he was about that. And if I remember correctly, one of his relatives, I think it might have been his brother, has passed away. Along top of that, which has been hard for him. If I'm remembering correctly, I could be wrong. I do believe his older brother has passed away. And his dad's still alive. But it's always been very difficult for him. But wrestling was his passion, his love. And he put all his heart and soul into it. And he's always kind of tried to find his way. And I don't try to make it all about myself. I'm not. But I can identify with Trey because I'm mixed myself. It's not like I say it all the time, but I'm mixed with black, American black, which my mother was already mixed. She was a light-skinned black, so she's mixed with something more than just black. She could be mixed with Native American. She could be mixed with Chinese. When she was alive, she could have been mixed with white. I don't know. I was never told. But I'm half black, mixed, and Puerto Rican. And I've always tried to find my way with that. It's not an easy thing. You think that, well, you're just black. Who cares? Oh, you're just Puerto Rican. I'm not. I'm half of both. And I grew up with my mother's side of the family where people were as dark as this thing on my head almost, or a little bit lighter than me. And then there are others, my father's side of the family, I barely knew. I knew a little bit of my cousins, I think. My half-sisters, I was around them, but I wasn't really close with them. But that's it for me. I've always been different. And Trey's similar to myself in some ways. But this is not about him trying to find his way. But in a sense it is. Because he's already stated, and as I said in the previous video, when I first checked the sites, because someone more than been getting comments saying, look, when it came to Myron Reed, he's with the Rascals going. When I first saw the sites, they had not updated them yet. The rumor was the Rascals minus Myron Reed was going to AEW. They didn't know if he was going with them at the time. But they updated the data, the information, and he was going with them. So that was just before I found out that Myron was that. That's when I made my video. But now it's been updated again, the information. Trey was not with the Rascals on Collision. That was on the 17th, I believe. Trey was not part of them. And it's now been openly stated that Trey Miguel, after signing his contract with AEW, within 1 day, he was released flat out. And he went to Twitter and said, I need some time on my own. I ask you not to tag me or speak any posting. Give all the love you can to the Rascals in AEW. That is generally what he said. Generally. There's more to it, and I'll get to it in a minute. But let's make this very, very clear. Trey Miguel is not with AEW now. He was released after signing a contract. Now, what is the speculation? In fact, since we're now 5 minutes, This looks like it's going to be a gum report, not a gum goodness. There's no way I can fit 3 minutes in or 2.5 minutes of information. This is what I've seen. I've gone to 22 sites, the information I have from the 22 sites. Most of them don't really talk about Trey. They were talking more about WWE, and they're talking about some aspects of TNA. But a few of them have talked about Trey. And the one thing that I get is they're wondering, why did he just leave? Some people speculate it's mental health. But I'm going to give a little bit of a different take. Now, pwmania.com is the connection I'll leave in the comments. And this one is where it gets interesting, because when you look at that site and that article of Trey Miguel, 2 instances, Trey Miguel had some level of controversy. One in 2020 and another one in 2019. Well, technically 2019 and then 2020. The 2019 situation was with a man, I believe his name was David Starr. And he had some type of problem with him. Or was it the other way around? It's kind of hard to remember what exactly they were talking about. But essentially speaking, in one instance, Trey Miguel had some type of controversy with David Starr, who could be Jewish. And when he went to a Holocaust memorial site, supposedly Trey Miguel, after that happened, was bothering and messing with him, saying, all lives matter. And then supposedly, again another situation, either it was 2019 or 2020, Trey Miguel was on Facebook, and he was dealing with a troll, and that troll was messing with him, and he said something gay, calling him gay, and some other comment. And he was nailed with that situation as well. So either the 2019 situation was possibly when David Starr was the situation where he was saying all lives matter, or that other comment about Facebook was the one that sparked it. He's now supposedly had 2 instances where people either thought he was anti-LGBTQ. I always get my LGBTQ. I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. I always forget it because they added so many to it. How many now is it? 9 different. There it is. 9 added to LGBTQ. It's so many, it's hard to keep up with it. And I tend to mess it up because I'm trying to remember the rest of it. But the point here is this. Whether he was for the gay, lesbian, or transgender community, they think that he's anti or anti-Semitic. He's already had some type of controversy. And what is the speculation? What could it be that he did not do it? Was it really mental health? Because he was saying he needs to get his mind right. He needs to take some time away and figure out himself. One speculation is that he does have some type of mental health issues. We know this because he made it very clear during his documentary how the stress of losing his brother, then his mother not wanting to have anything to do with him, and his father having to struggle with him, that could easily mess a person up. There is no lie about that. So all these years working in pro wrestling, which we know, you cannot hide it, ladies and gentlemen. You can't hide that when wrestlers people become wrestlers and go into this business, there is no way you do not have some type of mental health issue, because it is a hard life being a pro wrestler. You're doing the thing you love and you're passionate about, that you're willing to put your life literally in the hands of another person and doing things sometimes that could be dangerous for yourself. And then on top of it, taking the danger of working the ring, working outside the ring, and all the pains and aches and injuries you can get. You're away from family. You're away from your friends. You could be away from your spouse, whether you're a man or a woman, and your children, and that plays on you eventually. It happens. Look, I'm eventually considering making a video on Becky Lynch, talking about this next one could be a last. I'm not saying anything more than that, but that's something that happens. So with Trey Miguel, that could be it. That the wind and the grind and the the just going. We don't know if he has a girlfriend or boyfriend. I don't think he's gay. I'm just saying we don't know if he has anybody because I've never checked. I haven't checked to see if he has a significant other, whether he's a male or a female. I haven't checked. But that could play on a person. You don't know. So that could be really the situation that going from TNA, which we know gives a different feel, a different environment, let's say a different vibe than what WWE would have or AEW would have. Because TNA is known to be close-knit. Yes, I'm always going to critique it because it is owned by a corporation and the one who's running it is not a wrestling fan. He is not a wrestler. He's not a former wrestler. He is not even someone who produced wrestling. He is just an executive from network. I'm telling you, I'm always going to critique it. I'm always going to do that because not all the time a network executive understands the pro wrestling business. Very rarely they can. Eric Bischoff was one of them. You could say he fucked up a lot, but he also understood a lot. He's one of the rare exceptions could actually figure it out. I'm not saying that Carlos Silva can't. I'm just telling you, not everyone can. And that's the truth. So I'm always going to critique it. But what they did for Chris Bay, what they done for Trey Miguel, for Rosemary, for more than a few wrestlers, that shows they are a more close-knit, loving family than most pro wrestling promotions are. That's the truth. And possibly transitioning from AEW, from TNA to AEW, might have actually been more dramatic than he thought it would be. And that could have pushed him up, made him go over the edge. And he's saying, look, I thought I can handle just moving from TNA to AEW. No, I can't. Because he's already been on WWE's own television in NXT. He's already been there. And that's a lot of work. Remember, he's now going to work TNA's own system and then went straight to NXT's system, but then going back and forth between them. That could have burnt him out. You never know. But that's one speculation. The other one is this. And I'm not saying I want to make an asterisk. This is my speculation. It is just a theory, a speculation. I don't have evidence on this. I'm not going to say I have evidence on this. This is just what could be a possible idea why he signed a contract and within one day, they let him go. This is what I'm thinking. Let's make this very clear. Those two situations that Trey Miguel had in 2019 and 2020, let's make it clear, they never go away. Fans will always remember it. Or worse, wrestlers never forget it. Ever. Look at Tessa Blanchard. Whether she was racist, prejudiced, anti-Semitic, anti-LGBTQ, MRW plus? I can't remember how many are there. There's supposed to be 9, if I'm remembering correctly. But the point is, whether she was exactly what people said she was or not, it sticks with you. Like I've been saying all this time, when you see her on TNA television, on Impact, when she's working with Victoria Crawford, they legitimately look like they're having fun. And I can tell you right now, I've seen Total Divas back in the day when she was with Paige. She doesn't play. When it comes to Victoria, she doesn't fucking give 2 flips. How much money they'll give her, she will not work with someone racist. She will not work with someone prejudiced or has an attitude, a nasty one. She won't do it. She won't. And you could tell legitimately when they're together, they actually are enjoying working together. Yes, they're botchiness between each other, but it doesn't make a difference. So a lot of what they say is not true. But here's the thing. Like I said, Tessa's past has not gone away. You could hear that they're still saying that she's racist. So that's not going to go away from her. It's going to probably follow her for the rest of her career. When it comes to Trey, the same thing. And this is a possible speculation. Because there's more than one Jewish wrestler or someone who's working in AEW that is Jewish, and they knew about those comments, along with someone who is gay or lesbian like Nyla Rose is still working with AEW, and there's a couple other people that we know of that are working with AEW that is gay or lesbian. They know about those comments. And in the key, they know Tony Khan. And if they don't like someone, they will go to Tony. And as you already know, because of all the controversy that happened with CM Punk, with Jungle Boy Jack Perry, with the Bucks, and everything else that has been going on in this company, no matter how much you don't want to hear it, the company has always had controversy when it came to what was going on in the back. That is the deal. Look what happened with MGF at one point with literally with Britt Baker. You don't have to like MJF. You don't have to like Maxwell. You don't. But he has earned the right to speak his mind and to be heard by Tony Khan. And if he doesn't want to work with someone, Tony's going to oblige him. And under the situation, they probably didn't have a problem with Wentz, Myron, or Desmond Xavier. Dez, my boy, the former Wesley, the one I knew they would do really well, which he has done well. I knew Wesley was, Desmond Xavier was someone special. And I've always liked Trey Miguel. But if he made those comments online, and many people, including wrestling fans or worse, wrestlers, and people who work with wrestlers, which is the people who work in production, the promoter themselves, they don't forget that and they watch you. And there's a possibility that someone, and I'm still speculating. Speculation, my boys and girls. If it wasn't about his mental health, legitimately, like I said earlier, he's always struggled with some type of situation. His own mother giving life to him and didn't give him two fucking shits. And went to jail, and if she's still alive, doesn't want anything to do with him. If she hasn't passed away in jail. His own brother passing away when he was young, if I'm remembering correctly. His own father working hard and trying to take care of him, but still, Trey feels guilty about that and want to take care of his father and succeed. Along with the schedule of TNA. Along with then working a schedule with NXT. And now, finally leaving TNA, having an opportunity to go to AEW with possibly a good contract, might have been too much for him, and he broke down. He could have had a nervous breakdown. You don't know. He could have had a nervous breakdown, and he told them because of what was going on, and they noticed that he was having a severe nervous breakdown, they released him. Flat out released him, not saying what the problem was. Now, the other could be because of the comments he made, and no one is wanting to work with him in AEW because they have not forgotten it. I'm not saying Maxwell Jacob Friedman is the one. I'm not saying anyone else is either. We still don't know. But the speculation could be he said something or did something that is not liked by someone in the company or liked by someone's in the company. And they told Tony, and after just one day of being signed, they told Tony, no mas, no, forget it. Out. Get rid of him or you're going to have controversy in this company. And after all this time, they don't want controversy in this company. They're tired of it. I'm telling you now. Remember how many months upon months of controversy and leaked information in the back of people being angry and frustrated with him. And Tony not wanting to do what needs to be done. And wanting to make everyone happy. And not doing what's right to make the company look good. Tony might have said, fuck this shit. I'm releasing you from your contract. You're released. You're not having to work with us. I'm not angry at you, but until this controversy settles and people don't have a problem with you, or let's say, like some of the speculation on the sites, that there's also a possibility there's something that happened with Trey outside of pro wrestling that we don't know about that could be legal, and they didn't want to touch it. Just like what happened with Andrade. Remember, Andrade Cien or Andrade El, as he is now, working with the Don Callis family, legitimately couldn't work. So if, again, some type of controversy of either people are not interested in him because of what he said, and they told Tony, kick his ass to the curb, no, we will not work with him, we will start a fight in this place, and he released him, or something going on in the background outside of pro wrestling that Trey could not do anything, and they said, this is like an Andrade situation or something entirely different other than wrestling. We don't need this controversy. You're released. We have no problem with you until you solve your problem. We can't take you. That, or legitimately, real mental health issues. That he had been pushed so hard working not just to newly revamp Impact into TNA, then the partnership with TNA and WWE, and he was working both companies, and then finally getting the opportunity with possibly really big money, but more having to deal with something which could have broke him. It's one of those three, and I don't know which one it is. It could be any one of them. Hell, it could even be something totally different. We don't even know what it could be. It could be anything it is. But the big thing here is this. Trey made it clear, I have to deal with my own problems. I apologize for the problems and anything that I've done. He said this. I have to take care of myself. I got to do what I need to do. I need to be left alone. Please don't comment. Give all your love to the Rascals. He didn't say anything else. And if I was him, I wouldn't say anything more. Get your mind right if that's the issue. Or if he has some type of court problems, take care of that. Try to go back to TNA or back to AEW again. No problem. Or, which is even the bigger one, either he goes back to TNA and work by himself because those comments that he made years ago do not sit well with someone in that company or someone's in that company, and he can't get back in, he's going to have to either deal with working with TNA or WWE for that matter. That would be the best option for him. But who knows which it is. And here you go. This is not my Gump goodness. This is a Gump report. I hope you enjoy it. Please leave a comment below. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.